I convene the May 7, 2024 Strategic Planning Committee meeting to order at 7 p.m. Jackie, would you please call the roll?
Marjorie Bartelli.
Here.
Emily Swistak.
Here.
Karen Larson.
Here.
Liz Sullivan.
Here.
Vanessa Berry.
Here.
Debbie Bryan.
Here.
Josh Martin.
Here.
Tatiana Weinstein.
Here.
Will Savage.
Here.
John Ferrari.
Here.
Elizabeth Hopkins.
Here.
Paul Hurt.
Here.
Laura Murphy.
Here. Thank you. Agenda item 2, opportunity for visitors to speak. Public comment is for the general public to address the board. Each person will have up to 5 minutes to provide public comment. Seeing none. Any emails? Nope, thank you. Agenda item 3 is the introductions. I know a lot of you are familiar with each other, but not all of us. Some of you I have not met personally. So let's go around the room. Trustees, please provide your name and let staff know if you're an officer and what committees you may serve on, please. And staff, can you introduce yourselves? Let us know which department you manage and how many staff you supervise. Let's see. We know the director and the assistant director, so don't
Leave
feel
us out.
left out. All right, how shall we start?
You.
Oh, okay, I'll start. I'm Marjorie Bartelli. I am an officer. I serve on the Personnel Policy Committee and the Physical Plan Committee.
Am I up?
Yeah.
Okay,
you're up.
I'm Emily Swistak. I hold the office of Vice President. I'm the chair of the Personnel and Policy Committee, and I'm also on the Finance Committee for the first time.
Thank you.
I'm Karen Larson. I'm a treasurer. I'm on the Personnel and Policy Committee, and I also chair the Physical Plan Committee.
I'm Liz Sullivan. I'm the secretary of the board, and I chair finance, and I'm on the facilities committee.
I'm Elizabeth Hopkins. I'm the director of the Adult Services Department, and I supervise 9 people.
I'm John Ferrari. I'm the Director of Youth Services, and I am in charge of 8 employees.
My name's Laura Murph. I'm the Director of Technical Services, and I manage 5 people.
And I am Paul Hurt. I'm the Director of Circulation Services, and I oversee a staff of 15.
I'm Debbie Bryan, and I am on the Finance Committee.
Josh Martin, and I am on the Physical Plan Committee.
Vanessa Berry. I'm on the Policy Committee.
Thank you. Is it all right if I introduce Jackie?
Sure.
Jackie.
Hello.
You are Jackie who?
I'm Jackie Kilcran. I'm the administrative office manager in the admin department.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 4 is the LLD strategic plan process discussion. Before the director begins, thank all of you for being here. You did your magic and got everybody here. It's
Thank you.
a little difficult, but thank you all for being here. Let's hear from everyone tonight, and please share your thoughts freely. Whatever comes to mind, let us know, please. They're all important thoughts. And Tatiana, would you please start the discussion?
I can. So Will's going to pass out the full PowerPoint, because I was working on it for a couple of days, so I'm just going to look like just a smidge. Ooh. Give me that. Give me that.
Yes.
All right. Let me make it through this. All right. So we already went through our introductions. Thank you, everybody. We're going to talk a little bit about our vision and mission, but we're going to get to that later. So we have our vision and mission. Our vision is to enrich, educate, and empower the residents of the Lisle Library District. The mission is that we are committed to enhancing the cultural, social, and lifelong educational development of the community. Good vision and mission. And then moving on to our values. We have 8 value statements, and again, we'll get back to these as we move through our meetings. But number 1, We offer materials, technology, services, and programs that will help meet the diverse and ever-changing needs of patrons, both within and beyond our walls. We provide excellent patron and community service. We operate efficiently and deliver outstanding value with integrity and accountability. We communicate our diverse resources, services, and programs via all available media. We encourage the freedom of expression and the free flow of ideas. We provide skilled and knowledgeable staff working in a stimulating environment. We provide a welcoming, functional, and comfortable environment. And we value and encourage cooperative relationships and partnerships with community organizations, educational institutions, governmental bodies, and other libraries. So a lot of good values. All right, and we're going to move on to the 2019-2022 strategic plan. Trustees wanted, as we developed this committee, trustees wanted to review the previous plan, and that's what we'll do first. We had 4 focus areas that you see here, and we also came up with a list of attributes on the left there that we also felt were meaningful. We wanted the public to know that we kept these attributes in mind as we developed the plan that we have, the 2019-2022 plan. But however, moving forward, we're going to need to determine if we want new focus areas, do we want to assign new attributes or qualities that we're going for in a new plan. So here are the outcomes that were requested. So, under advocacy, outreach, and awareness, focus area number 1, the objective was to proactively promote our services, resources, and programs via community engagement, intergovernmental efforts, and communications media. So the first approach was to develop a marketing plan for services, resources, and programs, and we did that. We restructured staff, focused on marketing and social media, and they do work from a plan, an administrative plan. We diversified our e-blasts. We targeted different demographics with those e-blasts. We standardized our branding around the building, and we also did that digitally as well. We also included a map to the library on every newsletter. Number 2 was to engage intergovernmental entities to partner in community awareness campaigns. And so we engaged various local agencies for donation campaigns. We had the Love Purse campaign with legislators. We supported food pantry initiatives, Lyle Women's Club initiatives. We participated in intergovernmental events such as the July 4th parade, the big Warhol event last year, the Memorial Day committee, and then when COVID hit, we met countless times with the intergovernmental entities to develop plans for the community. And we also had a recent emergency meeting with the village to talk about community-wide emergencies and how we would react to them. Number 3, we explore and enhance social and digital media, mass media, library advocacy opportunities. So we added more video to our social media platforms. We added digital information monitors throughout the facility in the renovation. We reached out to businesses, HOAs, and apartment complexes. We utilized the digital community sign at 53 in Main. And again, as I'm going through these outcomes, this has occurred throughout the 3-4 years that we've been working with this plan. Number 4 was to continue and improve staff outreach efforts to underserved and unexplored district areas. So here we continue to conduct outreach visits to underrepresented groups such as patrons with autism and those who live in senior living facilities. We regularly seek advocacy opportunities at large community gatherings such as National Night Out, that's the police event, the French Market, and Lyle Women's Club Garden Gate. New for us was we connected with the Four Lakes community, which was really tough to do because there's a lot of turnover in terms of management there, so we've connected with that. So we're sending them a lot of our resource information, and we continue to work with the Green Trails newsletter on a regular basis. And 5, optimize and increase signage on campus and in the community. So we added an additional directional sign on Main Street. I believe that was Trustee Sullivan's recommendation a couple of years ago. We branded the building with the renovation exterior, outside and inside. We added additional parking signage throughout the campus, like where you can park, where you shouldn't park. Also, we added signage near our dumpsters. And we placed signs on the vacant lots to identify that they are library property. And then 6 was to provide effective training regarding new advocacy initiatives for staff and trustees. So staff regularly attend and participate in various training opportunities. We created the ad hoc committee a few years ago that was called Advocacy and Outreach, and all of our onboarding for trustees, as well as the recent training we had for trustees, emphasize library advocacy. Okay, and then moving on to the outcomes under facility. This is a kind of easy one. Our objective was, because we've done it and we're experiencing it on a daily basis, provide a welcoming facility and campus that meets the community needs, encourage utilization, and fosters an enriching environment. So number 1 was to update and enhance the facility, exterior areas as identified by the SBC committee to improve user experience. And so in 2023, we had a renovation, and it accomplished all the goals as laid out in Appendix A in the 2019-22 plan. And then number 2 was to utilize universal design concepts in the facility projects. And so the renovation added automatic doors, hands-free functionality to doors, as well as automatic water filling stations and automatic hand sanitizers. We added family restrooms, dual entrances, and an additional elevator for increased accessibility. Number 3 was to commission professional assistance when appropriate to reach our objectives. And of course, we used the services of professional architects for our renovation. We had an owner's representative and associated service professionals to accomplish all of our goals. And then number 4 is to refer capital projects to the physical plant committee and use expert advice to reach our objectives. So the physical plant committee provided very early recommendations for the renovation project, and then those recommendations went to the full board, and then the full board went forward with the project. The committee also continued to report on non-renovation activities. And then moving on to organizational culture, the objective there was to develop and maintain a strong, diverse, and professional organizational culture that reflects the vision, mission, and values of the library. So number 1 was to review and affirm the vision, mission, and values, and the library did not determine a need to update the vision, mission, and values during the last strategic plan. We can change that moving forward if we so wish. Number 2 was to review and update our policies at least quarterly in accordance with ILA standards and develop an ethics policy for trustees and staff. The Personnel Policy Committee updated 44 policies since fiscal year 2019, which I think is great. And we also adopted an ethics policy in late 2019. Number 3 is foster a professional environment. And we provide annual in-service and ongoing training for staff. This includes conferences, webinars, professional development certifications, and degree-seeking opportunities. And select staff are also trained, cross-trained to augment service points when necessary or when needed. Number 4 is to utilize authenticated research, analysis, and professional standards when developing policies, procedures, and presentations and projects. And so we do utilize the ILA standards, the statutes, and other professional resources when developing our formal strategies. We also seek the advice of our attorney when needed. And then 5 is diversify alternative funding. So we've sought grant funding yearly for the per capita grant. We received a DuPage Arts grant, a Lisle Community Service grant. We also assumed full responsibility for the book sale corner recently. And just a note here that the Friends and Foundation has not been active. And we also conducted a very large community fundraising effort to procure the Lights Law. And number 6 is to increase community engagement via organized collaboration with local nonprofits, units of government, and businesses. So we have increased our cooperation with the Lisle Women's Club on a regular basis. At least the last 3 years, we've done a lot. We've done some campaigns, some donation boxes. We have the scholarship arc. This is our 2nd year, I think, with that. So good work there. Local businesses, we partnered with a lot of local businesses for the Warhol event, and we continually engage with our intergovernmental entities. And then lastly, maintain a qualified professional staff, and we hire degreed librarians, and we always offer professional development opportunities for all staff. Okay, technology innovation, the last focus area. The objective was to implement and administer effective, efficient, and innovative technology throughout the facility and on campus. So number one was to develop an IT plan that includes technology replacement schedule, disaster recovery program, updated IT infrastructure, enhanced network and facility security. So the IT manager has an admin tech plan that outlines these initiatives with an emphasis on cybersecurity. And then we also repositioned a staff position to be a new IT assistant, and this also helps our IT manager fulfill the plan. Number two is to adopt uniform IT hardware strategy, purchase and contract in accordance with that strategy. And we have an IT replacement schedule. It has contract dates, our subscriptions, and a recycling plan for all of our technology in the building. We've also standardized multiple equipment stations, and what that means is basically having all Cisco this, or a lot of our laptops are all Dells or something like that. So we used to have a lot of patchwork stuff, so we've tried to standardize certain areas in our technology system. Number three is reconfigure the server room, providing ease of access to server switches and appliances. So the server room was updated in 2023 to provide more accessibility. We also upgraded to Cat6 cabling throughout the facility. Number four is to optimize RFID components within the facility. So there are 4 self-check kiosks in the facility, 2 upstairs and 2 downstairs. We have a new automated book handler and feeder to assist with check-ins and inventory. And we have security gates, RFID security gates at both entrances. And 5 is to improve access to technology resources. So we updated our app for ease of access to digital resources. We also offer technology programs for groups and for one-on-one sessions. And we utilize the mobile laptop cart in the meeting rooms here for these classes. And that mobile laptop cart is down in the copier room. The meeting rooms were also updated with new AV equipment, as we're using right here. It's for patrons and for staff. Okay. Oh, bonus. We enabled automatic renewals in 2024. So outside of our strict plan, but wanted to add that because we're still working under that plan. So after hearing about the outcomes from the last plan, there's some questions. So do we have new needs? Do we need new focus areas, new attributes? What are our guiding principles moving forward? Do we have facility goals, campus goals? What are our core philosophies? What are public library philosophies? So how do we figure that all out? Most organizations conduct the SWOT analysis, and we are no different. We're going to do that. So I'm going to stop talking so much, and we're going to pull away from the PowerPoint and talk about strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I'm going to take notes on these lovely notepads here. Thank you, Jackie, for getting that for me. And I'll start because I want to get the ball rolling, but I want everybody to have a say, okay? So this might spark some ideas, but I'll start with the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So for strengths, this is an easy one because we are just that awesome. I need my pens. Did I leave them? Yes, I did. I'm just going to name a couple and then we'll open it up for everybody. So I'm going to say one of our big strengths is library-wide events like Fall Fest, Summer Read, the big ones that occur outside. So I'll put library-wide events. And then one more strength I had was that we have a wonderful professional staff. So, professional staff. Under weaknesses, I'm I thought about this, and again, we are quite awesome, but one of our weaknesses is that we have an inactive foundation and an inactive friends group. So I'm going to put that here. Under opportunities, this is an easy one, so I'm taking that away from you, are vacant lots. Okay? There's things we can do with those. And then under threats, we live in a world where there can be some opposition to having a diverse collection, so that can be seen as a threat. And as well as, because we're a public entity, there is always a chance that staff can encounter like some hostility or have something happen where they feel intimidated. So I'm going to put that down as a threat. So I'm going to put, I don't know how to write, maybe I'll do diverse collection and okay. So giving you a little start. So we can go around the room, I'm not going to point to anybody, it's just free for all, but think about the library as a whole. So what are our core philosophies? So like what do we do well? What can we do better? How can we grow? And what can disrupt our lives on a daily basis? So, anyone, anywhere. Well, let's start with threats, strengths. Strengths, this is an easy one.
Facility, the building itself. Remodeled, new, a lot of old issues resolved.
Remodeled facility. And I have more paper if I need it. Any other strengths?
Community support, very strong support in the community.
These are just my notes, so I only have to read it.
The
Any other
variety,
strengths?
variety of programming.
Program variety. Other strengths?
Our non-traditional services and material that we offer. Non-library traditional, so everything besides a book.
Not non-traditional materials? Like what?
Like a Roku or
Okay.
a Wi-Fi. You can also get your license plates renewed.
So materials and services?
Yes.
Any other strengths?
We help all patrons regardless of their situation in life.
So,
It's open to the entire community.
trying to like distill that down to just a couple words. So.
Welcoming to all.
Okay. Any others?
Maybe we couch that with accessibility, which also then speaks to, as Josh said, the remodeled facility, but we are,
Accessible.
all of the public space is very accessible to anybody of all abilities.
Okay. Well, we can move on and get back to it if we need to. Okay, harder, weaknesses.
I need to ask a question to answer mine first. What market research, what demographic research do we conduct?
Well, I wish we had our marketing person here. As a public library, we generally know who our hard audiences are, teens and our non-users, obviously. So it's a tough one to just distill down how we all know
Right.
that's hard to do, to pull in.
So it's not an inherent weakness, but as part of what you know, I would say both weakness and or opportunity is
Yeah, these are tied a lot.
Yes, there are demographics that we know are difficult to serve, and the opportunity is reaching the difficult to reach demographics.
Difficult demographics. Okay, we'll get to opportunities. Okay.
Inflexible outdoor meeting or event space.
And challenges. Any other weaknesses?
Geographic community presence.
You want to expand on that?
Yeah. Do you?
So our building is situated on the far northeast corner of the district, and the far southwest corner not only is as far as you can get, but also is different school districts, is a part of, would be part of a different town in general. So because we are a district, we serve a lot of different people who come from different pieces of larger pies and may not know that part of their pie is us. And it is harder for them the further they are away from the building and Lisle proper downtown to recognize that we are a big piece of their pie.
Okay. Any other weaknesses we can think of right now?
Do we, along the research line, also perform comparative analysis with other library facilities in terms of both geography and district size?
Yes, we did a real thorough comparison to towns with our population, our budget, our, trying to think of the other criteria we used, our square footage. We did that prior to the renovation. I can share that with everybody again. But we have some libraries and towns that we mirror in terms of those criteria, so yes.
Did it reveal anything that would be potentially advantageous to note as something that another facility or district is doing that would be worth investigating?
Well, let me review that again.
Okay.
We're gonna have more meetings, and we're actually gonna come up with what we think is most important after talking about these things, and so then we can review those
Sure.
results.
Okay.
Any other weaknesses right now? Okay. Opportunities.
Expanding our adult volunteer program.
Okay.
Increasing our visibility on the web.
Want to expand on that?
Right now, our catalog isn't accessible through Google. There are multiple opportunities that we have through vendors we currently use that will be free of cost, that will add our material into the discoverability on the web.
Is that layer we're talking about? Like we were talking Vega and now it's something?
This is alongside of it. One of our current vendors that we get has an arrangement with Google to push libraries to the top when they do a search for books and that type of material. And then with the discoverability layer that can be put on top of our catalog, also makes events discoverable on the web and increases the other services besides the book that we offer. If someone was to be in this area and typed in license plate renewal, the library would come up.
Good. Any other opportunities?
You know me in the programs, I always think there's more room for programs, so yeah, I mean, I think we have wonderful programs, but I think there's opportunities for outreach and programming. You know, seniors, I think, used to be served a lot by the Friends Group, and so that's kind of
like increased senior programming?
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say anything because I feel like it's sounding like I'm not happy, but I'm just saying what opportunities there could be. And then
We
also,
can own these later.
yeah, okay, I don't want staff to be like, she said this, you know. Yeah, and outreach as well, you know, more, and that sometimes takes more staff you know, that isn't available for either one of those. So I recognize that there's not always, it's not there because there's only so many hours in the day.
Others? Yes.
I have a feeling that there's not a way to do this, but there are a lot of books that are not in audiobook format. They might be in ebook format, but they're not available in audiobook. And that's just a shame. Because you go and you do a search and you see that the library has it available in ebook, but if you don't want to read it, you want it in audiobook, it's just not available. Now, I don't know if it was never recorded, so it just doesn't exist, or I don't know if the service that we belong to just doesn't offer it.
Do you want to speak to that, Elizabeth?
It could be one of those two things. You're hitting the nail on the head. It usually exists, but not always. But we can only purchase what's available for us to purchase, and it could be that there's not an audio option for us depending on the platform.
Gotcha. It's like, there's some of them where you can get series 3 of 3 in the books, but you can't get 1 and 2, which is totally bizarre.
I mean, would an opportunity be to seek other platforms? I don't even know if there are any that would work for us.
I have no idea.
Well, it's your conversation. Any others?
Will got me thinking when in the weaknesses, we talked about the geographic location. So where I live is unincorporated, Naperville, it's Lisle Township. We're serviced by District 203 schools. And one of the things that you had mentioned when reviewing the previous strategic plan was about getting information out to the Green Trails Association, and then also with Four Lakes. But Steeple Run, we also get e-blast from our community, and there's a website, and so I mean definitely there's room to reach out there.
Yes,
and to get information.
I will say our marketing team of 2, we have 2 staff who work on marketing efforts. We have tried to reach out to as many HOAs as we can, as well as other parts of Lisle, and very little return, very little like reply. But it's not to say that we can't continue to do that. So
I would say maybe along the lines of those difficult demographics, it's more of the market research to identify the highest return on investment rather than broad brush. Let's use the same messaging widely and see if we can, catch any fish.
So target?
I would say the opportunity would be to pursue or investigate market research that could identify populations that are going to be receptive to library facilities they may not be aware of. So I'm sure there's an intersection of people who are looking for the services and don't know the services are there versus grab the whole pie and see if somebody, bites on the message.
Okay. So market research with targets.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about an opportunity to partner with another entity and working together, like with the vacant lots or other, and we can combine our skills and efforts.
Developing what's called a library of things, so making more non-traditional materials available.
Okay. Like doing more than we already do.
Correct.
Always ask for that. Yeah, I know. Increase non-traditional materials. Make space sometimes, but
Yeah, and I
these
think
are all.
that's part of the weaknesses is that we don't have a very big footprint. So like things like a maker space and that kind of thing.
That's
Like
true.
maybe there's a way to do it on like almost like a programming basis where
Right.
it's in a meeting room at certain times or I don't know.
So in terms of opportunity, but maybe like a mobile, activities. question mark.
Okay. An opportunity to digitize our local history collection to make it more accessible.
So we have some things digitized,
Yes.
but more.
But we have
and
so
local.
much more, yes.
Yes, okay.
More digital.
Digitized.
I think with the vacant lots, there's an opportunity for moving programming outside and making it much more interactive. Like, I know there's a lot of like gardening programs with the extension services. Like, if there was a garden, then they could be hands-on teaching, that kind of stuff.
Interactive and like instruction,
Yeah.
even outdoor instruction.
Is there any opportunity outside of our physical footprint or mobile activities, maybe this does happen now that I think about it, to actually take library services to other locations?
That's what we do with outreaches. So we'll bring like laptop lab,
Right.
teach people how to do things like I think we did this at Villa St. Benedict.
Yeah, we taught a whole class.
And we register people for cards and things like that.
What demographics is that targeting though?
Seniors.
Right. Is there a way to expand that to?
We do outreaches
Other-
to the high schools
Okay.
and to the junior highs. We can
And
increase it.
elementary.
I mean, that could be a
Elementary.
goal.
Right.
Elementary too.
Local daycares, yeah.
We
Is that-
do story times at local parks,
Okay.
especially during the summer and the fall when it's.
And
weather is-
I'm just saying, we can put that
Mhm.
down there. It's just, that takes staff out of the building
Right.
and outside and scheduling. So it's a
Mhm.
staffing thing too.
Mhm.
Just balance, but it's something we could add if that's what we would like. What do we think? Increase outreach? Yeah? Okay. Doesn't mean this is in stone.
It's already on there.
It is?
Yeah.
Well,
By seniors, so
Yeah.
we're talking about
we-
not just seniors now.
So it
too,
could
though.
just be in
To
general.
all.
there we go.
Okay. Move on to threats.
Building security could be increased.
How so?
We have relatively good viewpoints with the cameras on the exterior of the building. There are a lot of blind spots, particularly near emergency exits in the interior of the public space. So if something were to occur, the emergency exit out of youth services, we have no view of someone ducking out that back door. We have no view of someone ducking out this back door. General safety for staff and for patrons in the building. God forbid something happens, but it does not hurt to have eyeballs that we can reference.
It's also good as a deterrent
100%.
too.
Yep.
Is that it about security cameras? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Taxpayers continually or could potentially fail to see the value of services they don't utilize, and there's always a push to reduce tax burden and therefore funding.
Okay. So threat
The,
is lack of, loss of support?
yeah,
Okay.
right.
And on that same vein,
I'm just putting taxpayers under here for my own
Thanks.
notes.
I would also say our current economy,
Mhm.
with the increase in cost for items, that it's a threat to us to continue to be able to offer everything we still offer.
Mhm.
And can I add one other little thing that's a little off the side of it's still the economy, but also in response to the accessibility of certain e-material. There's a lot of pushback from corporate companies. The publishers often won't sell to libraries.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's a big one.
They delay when they sell them to us,
Really?
especially with the electronic.
And increase in pricing.
And increase in pricing.
Quadruple price.
Yeah, there's multiple.
On electronic
Yep.
versions?
Yeah, because they're so low cost on their end, and they want to make sure that they get the money for it. There's no wear and tear on an electronic
Every
record.
single place.
So it's their way to continue to make profit off of something. There's currently cases going through the legal system about it.
And we do get patron complaints sometimes that, well, why don't you have like multiple copies of this digital? Because I could buy it for like $3 on Amazon.
Yeah.
We can't buy it for $3 on Amazon.
And
So-
also
That's
the
incredible.
ebooks, not to get on a tangent,
No.
they do expire after a certain number of checkouts. So I could buy an ebook for patron use and 26 patrons will check it out and then I have to buy it again,
Right.
which I don't have to do with the
What's
physical book.
what's the percentage of digital media versus physical media that's checked out?
Oh, I have that statistic in that comparative study. It's small compared to our physical materials.
Digital is small?
Yes.
Compared to our physical materials.
Still?
Yeah, and it's like that for all libraries. It's not,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you think it's because people are buying it?
I mean-
Because it's so easy to buy it themselves that they just buy it?
It could be that, but also we just have, a lot of people like physical
Books.
materials still.
A lot of people
Books,
I think there's a very
magazines.
small
Really?
section of the population that like overuses all the digital stuff, Like you think that,
I just,
like I'm listening to audiobooks constantly, so I feel like everybody's doing that, but they're really not.
well, my question is, like, what's the demographic difference between, not demographic, what's the population that comes, what's the attendance on a daily basis and how many people check out what average number of publications? Or
We can pull
periodic
that
books,
information.
whatever it is.
Yeah, we can pull that information, but it is surprisingly to some, I don't want to misspeak. I want to say like 20% to 80%. I'm
It's
not
even
sure.
less than that.
Is it?
Well, on average, how many books are checked out on a daily basis?
I couldn't even say off the top of my
Paul?
head.
A wild guess.
With our circulation guy.
Seems
Yeah,
like
we
a
can
lot.
pull that information.
I mean,
It's a lot of
hundreds,
books.
thousands?
Isn't it usually in the circulation report,
Oh,
isn't it?
hundreds,
that you
yes.
give us?
Hundreds, so hundreds checked out on a daily basis.
Is there a
Depending
limit?
on the
Is there a
day.
limit to the number of books you
No.
can check out?
No.
Because I get limited to the number of audiobooks I can
And
check
that's
out.
a cost issue.
And I get limited
Interesting.
to the number of holds. So I'm using my account, my husband's account, I'm using an account in Naperville, and I'm
So
using
people
Audible.
are checking out less than 100 audiobooks on a daily basis. They're checking out more physical books.
Yes.
Yeah.
You also
What's-
have to take into
Youth,
account that
yeah.
the different people have different usage patterns, right? So like
Sure.
an average adult might check out like 1 or 2 fiction books, but I have a girl who's gonna check out 58 pony books.
Yeah.
And she will be back next Wednesday for 58 more. And that's only because she can only lift
A very good
58.
point. That's a very good point. I mean, I'm absolutely floored that the electronic versions are more expensive and that they're reluctant to sell
That's
to libraries.
crazy.
Wildly more
It's
expensive.
like $136 for
And,
one,
I mean,
Harry
it's-
Potter for 16 checkouts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really not, it sounds
Like
crazy.
for that.
Opportunity, library lobby to the
Yeah.
government to reduce
Yes.
publishers'
There are.
fees on electronic media. That's insanity.
Well, yeah, they're corporations who want to make
Yeah,
their money.
yeah, they do.
So-
They sure do.
So we have to, this is an ongoing struggle, ever since some of the media became digitized and available for multiple people. Public libraries have to, it's a challenge, and it's expensive. So, sure, if we devoted more money towards digital, and we have a sizable budget for digital materials, but on average, more people check out physical materials.
Wouldn't that be an opportunity then to lobby
Yeah.
our Secretary of State as the?
Well, here's
Yeah,
the-
there
it-
can't be,
Brilliant.
you can't be the only one. I mean, we aren't the only
Jared Costa's
one.
here frequently.
So, under
It's an
opportunity could be,
Yeah.
work more closely with our legislators.
Yeah,
for-
absolutely.
Affordable accessibility.
Right. There's people who can't physically be here. There's certainly the ability to get more materials if you're doing it
And not only
digitally.
that, with the ILA, I mean, we could become more involved, one of us or all of us, with that group to,
Usually it's elected officials.
I would, yeah.
But yes, yes, okay.
That means a boondoggle down in, you know, Springdale.
Yeah, sure, go for it.
You're all in for a boondoggle laundry. All right.
Okay, I think these are good starting points, and of course, you're all taking notes, so if you think of anything, you know, while you're in the shower, when you wake up in the morning, and you're like, yeah, I want that on there, email.
I'm gonna be fixated on that for a long time.
Okay, that's great. It's a learning moment.
Good, yeah, man, I don't know about that.
Do you want me to give you lobby training?
It's gonna be a rabbit hole here. No, I do not. We have too many lobbyists in my current organization. I'll let them handle it.
Okay, so all good stuff. So we're gonna move on to the next slide here. So, I want to also list, you can see that one if you read there, it says guiding principles. I want to list some qualities here that we can attribute to who we are, why we do what we do. Not unlike the other list that was there that says diversity, partnerships, efficiencies, those things. So I just want here's something to think about when we think about some words that talk about what matters for us. So as trustees, think about like, you know, I'm a trustee at a public library. Like, what does that evoke in you? What are you proud of in terms of being a trustee at a public library? Why do public libraries matter? And then for staff, I want you to think about why you became a librarian, why you love working in the public library, and what words come to mind, and why is what we do important? And also, what do we want our public to understand about us as a public library? So again, the attributes that were listed last time are all good ones, and we can still use them, but I want to come up with a few more words that you know, give some essence to what we do and what we are. So, take it away.
Equitable access.
Equitable access.
Libraries are always a pillar of the community.
I'll agree with that. What other words matter to us about the public library?
Trustworthy.
Agreed.
I don't know how to say this, but like improving the quality of life of patrons. Does that make sense?
I think improving the quality of life. Improving the quality of life.
Providing unbiased information.
I think of it as a safe place.
That's just good.
Someone else was saying something.
Self-guided education.
And I think tied to that is lifelong learning.
That was on the other, but we can continue to bring that along. Lifelong learning. And again, we can use the other ones too. I just want to add to the list.
I would like to say at the forefront of ideas, concepts, technology, both in the library sciences themselves and what's being brought to the patrons. So,
Distill it down.
yeah. Something like thought leadership or
Help them.
Innovative.
Yeah, I think innovative is a good one.
Yeah. I mean, we could just like use innovative as one of our
right.
Innovative leaders.
Sure,
our
I like
attributes.
innovative. Yeah.
Like the library provides like a third space for the community.
Mm-hmm.
Good one.
Vanessa, I didn't hear what you said.
It's a third space for the community.
Homework library.
Yeah.
Inclusivity. Inclusivity? I'll put it up here.
Yeah.
This is good. This is good. Again, if you think of others, you email me. Okay. So, back to the questions about new focus areas and new guiding principles. What I'm going to do is take all of this information and I'm going to create, it's not going to look like this, but I'm going to create a rank chart for all of us. And then we're going to rank them on what we think are most important. None of these are bad, but what are most important are very important, important, maybe we're neutral, maybe not vital, and we're going to rank them. And then I'll combine everything. I'll send out like a quote-unquote survey to you all. You rank them, you send them back to me, and then I'll compile them all into one document. I'm not going to, and we'll share it at our next meeting to see if there's any patterns. So I'm the only one who's going to see your answers, so I'm not going to say, you know, Elizabeth said this and Will said this. It's just going to be very basic, and we're going to see if there's a pattern, and it'll just be a good starting point for the next conversation. Does that sound good? Because we haven't even talked about what we want as our new focus areas or what are our guiding principles, but any of these can be those, or we can come up with some new ones. Okay. So let's talk about external input. So we'll move through these, but if we want a survey, we're going to have to come up with some relevant, non-biased questions. So I'm imagining there's interest in having a survey. We'll talk about them all in a second. Number 2 is, do we want to hold focus groups? And so if yes, how many? Who's included? And so traditionally, and when I say traditionally, it's just the one time I participated, but traditionally, we invited certain people to participate in focus groups. When we had our community engagement, our large community engagement survey in 2017, we invited people, we invited like either program attendees, business owners, we could have intergovernmental leaders. The big challenge with focus groups is, no surprise, getting everybody here on the same day at the same time is just tough. But something to think about. And then the next idea here is in-house interviews or patron station. So, and what I mean by that, that's just my term, patron station, but not unlike when a legislator comes, like Kara Costa Howard, where they sat in a study room, we could have one of you members seated at a table in the lobby with a sign that says, talk to me about the library. And you could ask walkers by a couple questions about the library, tally the results, offer them a little trinket for their time. And then we could just tally those responses and bring them to the next meeting, because that's kind of like a one-on-one chat with people who use the library. And then just other ideas. So I wanted to talk about these as a group, like which ones do we like, which ones do you think have merit, which don't we want to do.
I like the in-house interview idea. I think people might be, people that use the library all the time and they're coming in here, I would believe would have an opinion.
What is the best way to survey people who don't come to the library?
Well,
and get responses.
the best way is probably via a district-wide mailing or our newsletter that hits every home.
Yeah, those have like a, 8% return rate?
Well, I'll say this, when we did our community engagement survey in 2017, we had 700 responses.
That's pretty good.
Which is better than other entities in town that
Yeah.
have held these. So, yes, we had hired a consultant to do this, but I mean, the survey we created ourselves. We obviously paid for like 13,000 mailings of a postcard that brought you to a website, which was like a simple postcard, glossy, pretty. People took it.
For focus groups, I know Vision 202 had like online signups where they had a few different times to choose from. And if you were interested, you could pick what worked for you.
Was there a limit?
I think there were like 10 people per group for the junior high one. I know when they were doing the elementary renovations, it was open, like bigger groups.
Yeah, that one was really big.
I didn't hear you.
The elementary one was really big.
Yeah.
They invited a few different people from the community and then opened it up to everyone else. So I was at that one. I was not at the junior high one though.
Yeah, the junior high was like just for junior high parents, and it was limited to 10, which was nice because they went through like, here's the different areas we want to hit, and opened it up for discussion.
I like the idea of an auto sign up because then you're not,
Yeah.
I mean, you have to come, or I mean, you schedule yourself
Right,
for
yeah.
this time.
Right.
Have we ever approached any of the high schools, well, we only have one, sorry, like the National Honor Society, you know, the kids that are involved in civic activities,
Yeah.
and, you know, the real doers, and get their ideas. Not just parents, and I don't mean that.
No,
Adults.
I love that idea.
In any organization, if you've got your, you know, you have your Eagle Scouts, you have your Boy Scout, Girl Scout, just
Yeah.
different kinds of groups.
And I mean, yes, there's only one school fully inside the district boundaries, but there's really, outside of the fact that I don't know how this is viewed, right? We have students in the 203 schools. We should theoretically reach out to them as well, even if
We have more.
we're surveying some that aren't.
We have more residents not in 202 than in 202
And we have private schools too.
in the district.
Really?
Yes. Our district is 30,000 people.
Yeah.
And 202 draws from like 10,000 people.
That was more than that, but wow.
At least that was the last, when they did their last, like, survey about what 202 is and like the number of families and households and like students. Maybe it was like 10 to 12,000.
Well, I mean, you're absolutely correct. So to the point, is there any issue over surveying if we're looking at some of those schools that are not exclusively in LLP
I
boundaries?
mean, I think the question is, do we want to do focus groups? And we can do an auto sign for maybe a couple of
Well-
dates, and then we can do an invite or a visit, like
Yeah.
where we go to a class and ask for
Right.
time, and that's the hard part.
Right.
is
Well,
asking for
I
time.
love the idea of the NHS or like an AP civics class or something like that, where they're probably going to give us everything we want to hear and not actually representative of the overall high school demographic, but still,
We could have good ideas.
it's a better perspective than me.
Well, and
or
sometimes like
others like me.
the high school clubs are looking for things to do at meetings.
Oh, that's a
So
great
like I know
idea,
there's a
too.
government club at the high school, like something like that they might be
Oh.
interested in.
There. Yeah, you're onto something, Marjorie.
What about asking all of the staff to participate in some sort of a survey?
I would imagine that we would open up the general survey to everybody.
Okay, good. Yeah, or just, because I feel like they have perspective. When
For
we
sure.
did ours at the Park District, we brought everybody together for a whole day. We had a consultant, but we got so much out of it.
Preschool
And it was interesting. What?
Not the preschool staff.
Part-time, it was full-timers, sorry. But we got so much out of it from everybody's viewpoint. And, you don't realize sometimes what people see that, maybe you don't see anymore because you're not on the floor all the time or whatever. So it was a good thing, I think Dan would tell you.
Oh, for sure.
It was a very, very productive day.
Yeah, we would encourage all our staff to take any
Yeah.
survey that we offer. Yeah. And that's why we have our department directors here too, as representatives of the whole library. So, okay, so what I'm hearing is we want a survey, we are interested in focus groups, we like the in-house interview table? We do? Okay. All right, anything else? Move on. Okay, we will move on. We're almost there. Promotional outreach types of it. So under social media, what methods do you want to use? We can do video, we can do photos, we can do all of the above, text posts. We can link to whatever survey we come up with, and we can talk about other input ideas. Under website, that's coming this month, by the way. Where do we want the promotion of the strat plan or the survey on the website? And we can talk about this in the future. I just wanted to document that these are things we need to think about. And then as far as mailings go, do we want to supplement promoting things via a separate mailer? Do we want to do it with a postcard? Do we want to do it in the newsletter? I think Marjorie mentioned that once, because it hits everybody. And there are some costs involved. So back in 2017, we did like 13,000, 14,000 postcards, real slick postcards. It cost us about $1,900, not too bad, to hit bulk mail that had the survey link on it and everything. And our bi-monthly newsletter, so we do 2 months, every 2 months is about $5,000. And it's an 8-page. It's pretty packed. And then as far as external meetings, what I meant here is, do we want to share our strat plan process? It could be the results of it, or it could be encouraging people to take the survey. Do we want to share our process with external groups at their meetings? So do we want someone from the committee to speak at a Lisle Women's Club meeting, or provide public comment at the village meeting, or at any other community meetings? And then just any other ideas. So what do we like here? I think social media and website is pretty standard. But as far as mailings and external meetings, what are we thinking about?
I like the idea of going to the people and giving a little presentation at the women's club, or if we have a garden club or Rotary, where we would explain and talk about what the library is looking for and try to get feedback from them there. Okay. So I like the external meetings.
I feel like a lot of times the people who would respond to the mailings would have to come in. Maybe it wouldn't be the technology person. You know, if you're looking at a postcard, does that will you go to your website next? You know what I mean? It might not be. If we did that, maybe they would have to come in and do a paper survey or something.
Well, we would have both.
Yeah. So I don't know if it, but yeah, that's. I'm just
Well, maybe the
thinking,
postcard like links to the survey, but also advertises the times that we're doing the like in-person like interview kind of things.
Just like a QR code on the mailing that they could just scan and take them right to the survey.
Or like a tiny URL or something like that.
But if it's a QR code, then they don't have to type it in. So user error just
we can do both.
Goes away. Yeah.
Do we like the mailings? Is the cost shocking? I don't think it's too bad. Okay. That is good. Okay, so our next steps. This is again nothing.
Oh wait, can you pause for a second?
Yes.
And you know how you send out the e-blast stuff too, like so it could be in those also.
For
when
sure.
we get those.
Absolutely, good idea.
Tatiana, do the churches and so on allow civic organizations to advertise? I know some of the homeowners, I don't know what the argument would be against your library as far as soliciting, you know, just our general information about what we're doing and providing. I don't know how the church bulletin works.
That's another organization we can reach out to, is another, like, in the quote-unquote nonprofit groups. I know that when we did our grand opening, we even sent individual letters to our neighbors just to let them know we're going to have a huge grand opening, there's going to be a lot of traffic. When we did the renovation, we sent out at least, I think, how many did we send out? Maybe 60 letters to like the neighborhood to let them know we're going to have, you know, semi-trailer trucks on the property, and you're going to see some chain link fence up and things like that. So that could just go under the umbrella of like community outreach to nonprofits, as well as we can email them, call them, ask if they'd
include our e-blast in their bulletin or something like that, for sure.
Just a thought.
Yeah. Okay. Next steps. So just things to think about. What's going to happen next is I'm going to share this data behind me, and we're going to rank the results, and then our next meeting we'll discuss them. We'll eventually have to draft a survey for the public using this data, whatever we distill it down to. We will launch the survey. We're going to have to find a date for that, a proper date. We'll gather the results and then eventually discuss those survey results. We have to schedule focus groups or in-house interviews. We'll eventually determine our new focus areas, if they're new at all, and our guiding principles. Set approaches to reaching the desired outcomes. And then review, edit, and update our vision, mission, and values, maybe, if we need to. And then we'll have to determine the length of the plan. Are these things, can we accomplish all these things in 3 years, or 4 years, or 5 years? So again, our homework will be, we're going to rank the ideas. I'll get that out as soon as possible, I'd say within a week or so. I'm going to give you a week to send me any other ideas that may bubble up in your brains. And then I'm also going to include the guiding principle list. I'll include the old one and the new stuff that we come up with. And again, we'll probably rank them in order of like very important, neutral, and not vital. Does that sound okay to everybody? So a little bit of homework? Okay. So that is my presentation. Oh, it's kind of weird. It didn't like my fonts. But thank you, everybody, for listening to me talk for so long. And thank you for your input. This will be very helpful.
Agreed.
And I'm going to leave it to Marjorie now to move the meeting along.
Would anyone like to make any last comments or how
I've
you
already
feel
said
about this
enough.
session? I thought it was
Very valuable.
good. Very helpful.
Yeah, thank Tatiana for being so
Yes,
prepared
thank you.
and getting us to this point. Great leadership.
Well, thank you for participating, because that's the hardest thing about having these kind of meetings is pulling opinions.
And thanks to staff for being here.
Yes, thank you.
They rearranged their schedules. Some of them work at split shifts, so.
Oh,
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. On that note, the last item on the agenda is to adjourn. May I have a motion and a second?
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned at
Nice.
8:08.
Great.